Hello and welcome to this talk, and the topic for discussion will be security tools and overview of security topics. In the first we'll talk about VPN. Already we have discussed what is a VPN, some introduction we have given to VPN, and we'll extend this discussion by adding firewall, some concept of encryption also will be coming, and also try to give an overview of the topics related to security which has been discussed prior to security tools. So these are might be discussed: VPN, firewall, encryptions, and other related topics. What information VPN can hide and VPN can hide? This is the questions we always ask. What information a VPN can hide? A VPN can hide a lot of information according to some website that can put your privacy at a risk, such as browsing history, IP address and location for streaming devices, web activity. All these informations, if you don't use VPN, it might be exposed to the outsiders or hackers. The browsing history, the ISPs and the web browser may keep track of the activities one does on the internet. A lot of websites one visits can also keep a history. Web browsers can track your search history and tie that information to your IP address, but everything cannot be public. Medical history, you cannot make it public. This one, deposit in bank, you cannot make it public to everyone. So this information has to be hidden. Without a VPN, information has been automatically shared. It is to be noted that ISPs may sell the browsing history to the concerned agency. ISP means Internet Service Provider. So here we are talking about that importance of using a VPN. Otherwise, all these information, sensitive information, personal information can be automatically shared. IP address and locations. Anyone who captures your IP address can access what you have been searching on the web, on the internet, and where you were located when you searched. It locates the individual device. Since VPN uses an IP address that is not any individuals, it allows to maintain online privacy and search for the new web anonymity. They provide protections against gathering search history, viewing it or selling it. So this is what important. Availability of location for streaming. One page for streaming services that enable you to watch things like movies, sports. In case of the change of the locations, you have changed your location from the currently you have been using them, move to some other country, move to some other city. The streaming service may not be available due to the contractual terms and regulations in other countries, but VPN would allow you to select an IP address in your home country that would likely give you access to any event shown on your streaming service. So basically it extends this service to other locations also. This is the point which you have been talking to. Hiding of devices. VPN can help protect devices including desktop computers, laptop tablets and smartphones from attack. Your devices can be prime target for cyber criminals when you access the internet, especially if you are in public Wi-Fi networks. In short, a VPN helps protect the data you need to send and receive on your devices. There are 4 key components of a VPN: VPN server, encryption algorithms, authentications, VPN protocols. VPN protocol we have discussed earlier, but here also we will focus just only one such protocols to have completeness of the subject. These 4 components support the security, performance, interoperability requirement of the VPN for any enterprise. The proper requirement definitions of the organizations and drives VPN architecture of the organizations. Requirement definitions include number of remote sites connections, the number of simultaneous connections, the amount of expected traffic from the remote sites, security policy to be adopted. Now move to the VPN servers. We are talking about different elements of the VPN now. Now VPN server acts as the endpoint for the VPN. It must be able to handle the expected load. Memory size, processor speed of the server should be based on the number of simultaneous VPN connections. Sometimes it may be necessary to build multiple VPN server to handle the expected load. Encryptions algorithm. Encryptions we have discussed earlier, but again since it is being used as an important component of any virtual private network. Let me just emphasize this point again. Encryption is the process of changing the plain text into ciphertext. One of the important security services of encryption's algorithm is to provide confidentiality of the information. The encryption's algorithm used in VPN should be well known and strong. The advanced encryption standard AES, this is a standard we use in VPN, is a symmetry key algorithm established in 2001 by the National Institute of Standard and Technology (NIST). AES has become the standard of the contemporary VPN industry. Though AES 120 is considered secure, AES 256 is preferable as it offers a stronger protection. Authentication is used to prove a user validity to access this system. By using a pre-shared key, two organizations also want to set up a VPN between each other, would configure and share the same key on their VPN devices to be able to authenticate to each other. A VPN authentication system must provide three basic functions: an authentication functions to identify the user correctly, authorization function to check whether the user has the authority to use the requested service according to the contract with the user, and an accounting functions to record the user's usage. So three basic functions they support. Authentications is one, accounting function is another, and third is authorization function. Now we'll move to the VPN protocol. The VPN protocol determines how a VPN system will interoperate with other systems. It affects the overall security of the system because it will also be used to exchange encryption keys between the two endpoints. The current standard for VPN is IPsec protocols. IPsec also handles the key exchanges, authentications and remote sites, and negotiation of algorithm, both encryption algorithm or hash function. The primary alternative to IPsec is secure socket layer protocol, which is used by Securtiy HTTP. Since SSL is designed to work at the applications layer, it may not be as efficient as IPsec. So IPsec has become a standard protocol for this one. Now move to the next security tool, firewall. Tools such as firewalls and intrusion detection system provide protection for all areas of the network and enable secure connections. What is a firewall? Firewall is a network security device that monitors incoming and outgoing network traffic and decides whether to permit or block a specific traffic based on defined set of security rules of the organizations. For over 25 years, firewalls have become a first line of defense of any network security of any organizations. A firewall establishes a barrier between a secured and controlled internal networks that can be trusted and internet untrusted outside networks. A firewall can be hardware or software or both. These are the different kinds of firewalls are there: proxy firewalls, stateful inspection firewalls, unified threat management firewall, next generation firewall, and threat focused firewall. And this was the proxy server was early type of firewall device. The services the gateway from one network to another, provides additional functionality such as content caching and security by preventing direct connection from outside the network, but may impact throughput capabilities and applications they can support. A stateful inspections firewall allows or blocks traffic based on state, port, protocol. It monitors all activities from the opening of a connection until it is closed. Filtering decisions are made based on both administrators' defined rules as well as context, which refers to using information from the previous connection and packets belonging to the same connection. UTM firewall device typically combines in a loosely coupled way the function of a stateful inspections firewall with the intrusions prevention and antivirus. Also includes additional services and often cloud managed. UTM focus on simplicity and ease of use. Firewalls, let's go to next generation firewalls. Firewalls have evolved beyond simple packet filtering and stateful inspections, useful for blocking modern threats such as advanced malware and applications layer attacks. Large scale deployed by companies next generation firewall must include a standard firewall capabilities like a stateful infections, integrated intrusions preventions, applications awareness and control to see and block risky apps. The threat focused next generation firewalls includes all the capability of a traditional next generation firewalls and also provide advanced threat detections and remediations. When a threat focus, so what they can do, know which assets are most at risk with complete context awareness, better detect evasive and suspicious activity with the network and endpoint event correlations. Now we have, let me just give you the topics related to security which we have already discussed. Now we have just discussed 2 or 3 issues as a part of network security tools. One was the VPN, second we talked about firewalls. In between we discussed about the concept of encryptions also. Now just have a brief overview of topics related to security which has been discussed so far. We started with information security. Our security topic started with information security. And what is information security? Information security deals with how you can secure your personal and confidential information from the rest of the world. This way we have defined what is information security. Information security is mainly concerned with the 3 aspects of data regardless of the form they take. We talked about confidentiality, we talked about integrity and availability, and each one we define and gave you proper examples of these 3. Information security is securing information and does not necessarily have to invoke technology. So information technology does not deal with any technological aspects of security. They more are related to this policy issues related. IT security is a technology specific. So lots of words are common, overlapping sometimes. Sometimes people say information security, the IT security, the computer security, but there are clear-cut distinctions between all the 3, and whenever I have presented all these topics, we have given you clear-cut distinction, gave you example also ki in this case this will be information security, this is going to be IT security, and this is computer security. But just for a quick reminder that information security is nothing have to do with technology, where IT security, yes, is a technology specific. Computer security measures and controls that ensure confidentiality, integrity, availability of information system assets, including hardware, software, firmware, and information being processed, stored, and communicated. Organizations must be ready to handle different types of attacks on the even today we discuss about that in case of the security breaches in the small and medium kind of organizations, what actions they have to do, what besides the training of the staff, making them aware, they should have proper tools available to this one. So organizations must be ready to handle different types of attack on the security of an organizations. And in this context we discuss 4 types of threats. We talked about physical security threats, we talked about network security threats, we talked about software security threats, we talked about password security threats. And just you recall, physical security is more the earlier style of protecting the system or organizations from the threats. Physical security is not a primary concern today when it comes to information security, because it deals with technical and administrative issues. Most organizations today focus on technology-oriented security countermeasures, and our discussion was more on the technology-oriented security implementation countermeasures, and that is why we talked about different kinds of security tools, classified antivirus software also. Discuss about VPN kinds of protocols. IPsec was one such protocol is there. Network security threats, active attacks. The 2 types of attack we have talked about: active attacks, passive attacks. Passive attacks is more on the listening, what kind of traffic going on, which ports are being used quite often, Active attacks, also called hacking, include the modifications of transmitted data and attempts to gain unauthorized access to computer system such as server now. So one should be more concerned about the active attacks, and all our security tools were more on this side. And types of active attacks include denial of service, distributed denial of service, session replay, masquerade, and message modifications. Now, so denial of service was quite detailed. We had very detailed discussion of denial of service attacks. Denial of service attack is a cyber attack which is meant to shut down a machine or network, making it inaccessible to the intended users. Now, on one such example of a denial of service attack was a buffer overflow attacks. Buffer flow over attack is the most common DOS attacks. The purpose is to send more and more traffic to the network address than the system can handle it. What will happen if you send more traffic? The buffer will be full, and whatever is sent further, it might pass through the adjacent memory locations. We also discuss about encryption technique in detail, and encryption is one of the elements of a firewall we discuss now. Encryption is a technique used to keep sensitive and personal informations safe, such as passwords. It is a process of converting the original information known as plain text into a alternative form such as a ciphertext. Only authorized person can decipher a ciphertext back to plain text and access to original information. And in this case, we discuss different kinds of algorithms here and also give you various examples of this one now. Encryption helps protect the confidentiality of digital data either stored on a computer system or transmitted through a network like the internet. Two types of encryptions widely used today are called the symmetric and asymmetric encryption. The name derives from whether or not the same key is used for encryptions and decryptions. So, and we discuss both kinds of encryptions algorithm. We also discuss the various elements of this encryptions algorithm. For example, original text is one element, then the algorithm itself could be another, this one, the ciphertext is another element, then keys could be another element. Now, in one kind of encryption, you have only one key being used both by the senders and the receiver, whereas in other kind of algorithm, we have two keys. So these are the elements of any encryption algorithm. Let me just recall again, any encryption algorithm, whether it is a public key or not public key, the text, the original text which you send is the one, then it converts into ciphertext could be another element, then the keys they use, some using only one key, second a public using two keys, and then the actual algorithm which we are using here. So these are the various elements, and give you example to understand. And for clarity, one is requested to take some example, apply one of this technique and see how it really works. We discussed asymmetric key encryptions. So here public encryption has 6, here we talk about 6 ingredients. Plain text encryptions, public and private key, they have named it as a public and private key. What is a public and private key? This is a pair of keys that have been selected, so that is one is used for encryption, the other is used for decryptions. Decryption algorithm, it is essentially the same kind, just like encryption algorithm run in reverse. It takes the ciphertext and secret key and produces the original element. Software vulnerability we discuss in quite detail. We have one presentation on the software vulnerability itself. A software vulnerability can be defined as a flaw present in the application software or in an operating system. Software vulnerability is a problem that is potentially so dangerous that it threatens the proper functioning of the computer system. So you are requested to refer to the slide for detailed discussion. Types of security vulnerability also we listed. Computer security vulnerability can be divided into numerous types based on different criteria, such as where the vulnerability exists, what caused it, or how it could be used. Some broad categories of these vulnerability which we have discussed in detail is the network vulnerability, operating system vulnerability, password vulnerabilities. The most common software security vulnerability include OS command injections, SQL injections, buffer overflow, missing authentication for critical functions, missing authorizations, unrestricted upload of dangerous file types, reliance on untrusted input in security decision. So all these issues you have to examine one by one, and some context you have to try to understand. And definitely we discussed quite detail on viruses. Viruses can be transmitted as attachment to an email, downloaded file, or can be present on a website, diskette or CD. Some viruses start their effects as soon as their code is executed. Other viruses stay dormant unless circumstances cause their code to be executed by the computer. Computer virus also we listed number of symptoms that you can say that there is a virus present in your system. System becomes slow, performance becomes slow, frequent system crashes, most time the system gets shut down, more and more emails being sent from the individual's email account. This is also one of the symptoms of computer virus. Changes to individual's home page or password. What security measures also we listed security measures each time we are talking about. Today also we talked about security measures to be taken by small and medium class businesses. A single type of security is not sufficient to protect sensitive data of the organization. So only you purchase the antivirus software, that is not sufficient enough. You have to work at many fronts to save your organization from hackers. Likewise, a single product is not efficient to protect computers and network system of any organization. Many different types of products are necessary to fully protect confidential and sensitive data of any organizations. And these are the anti-security measures to be taken. Some more can be added what we have discussed today. Antivirus software you have, some access control define who is allowed to what, smart cards can be uploaded, biometrics we have discussed in quite in some policy management. IT policy also has to be framed according to the requirement. So all these issues are the network security concerned with these issues: firewall, antivirus, intrusion detections, access control, data encryption. Some are common threats. These are the threats: spyware, adware, phishing, bots, worms, Trojan horses, viruses. We discuss in quite details. All these things have been defined very well. Have defined, and of course, these are the references one can look at for more details. I hope you have understood the topic very well. And today we concluded this topic with two major security tools besides what we discussed, and gave an overview what we had discussed, and that was the how firewalls, and second is virtual private networks. We went into details: how do they work, what are the standard protocols, how it is helpful to the organizations. With this we want to conclude. Thank you very much.